big takeaway from Monday Night Raw: the return of Sasha Banks. Before I get into it, what'd you think?
I think the thing about like she took off the wig. She had the red hair, the pink hair, and like underneath was blue.
Which was
I
a
was like,
swerve for Smarks. Just want to point that out there. That was a very big swerve to Smarks because, and I'll tell you why.
all right,
So we've been seeing these posts, and she's been making it relevant, and all her stands have been showing this where she took out all the color in her hair, and then
oh,
on Saturday she posted some photos of her with blonde hair. So when she took off the wig, no one ever saw her with blue hair. Shout out to Sailor Mercury, but no one saw her with blue hair. Like we just didn't see that coming at all. So I just wanted to point that out there. A lot of people didn't see that swerve coming though. But go ahead, Ben. My
oh,
bad. I
because
digress.
I saw that some people were like, she was posting lyrics from a song,
Mm-hmm.
and people were saying like for months, and people were saying, oh, she's almost at the end of the song. So it's like, yeah, so she's reaching that last line of the lyrics,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be then that she comes back. Um,
Awesome. I
I
like
I
that.
think I think in I'm guessing it was her idea because in her head it made a lot of sense, and I think she thought I'm gonna get a big pop when I do this. Didn't happen, and I was like, all right, your hair's blue now, awesome. Because like that's not what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, you attack Natalia, you're back. That's where my head is at. It's not like, oh, your hair's different. Good for you,
Yeah.
girl. I'm like,
No,
come on.
I feel you, man. I was just saying, like, for the casuals, that was like the blue hair was something else. But just, I think that it was a little bit to the Smarks because they thought that, you know, oh, she's gonna reveal her blonde hair, and instead it was blue. Just a little subtlety, man. Nothing big of importance, but
WWE doesn't need another blonde girl.
I agree. Not no disrespect, but yeah, I totally agree. I like the different, and I like the blue. I think it suits her. I am so glad the boss is back, though.
Yeah.
It has just brought a resurgence to not just the women's division, just wrestling in general. Is we again, it goes to the saying like we're finally getting what we want. We've been clamoring for this since she's been on the main roster since they took the detour when she was semi the boss in Team Bad, and and now she's like full fledged the boss, attacking Becky, which seems to be where the next that should have been our clue that that's where she was. That anyways, um, but yeah, like we're the consensus that by Survivor Series she's gonna be strapped with the belt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's time.
yeah, I agree.
And it's gonna be a great match.
It is.
I can't wait to see it.
It's definitely gonna be amazing. I am interested to see what her Royal Rumble and Survivor Series looks like. Um, because I can think of a couple of dream matches just off of the top of my head that I would want to see. One involving Trish Stratus, maybe at the Royal Rumble, and then maybe we get a title for title if Bailey holds the title by WrestleMania. We get a Sasha Bailey, like a true Sasha Bailey feud.
I mean, Survivor Series will probably be champions versus champions, right?
That's true. That might be like the starting of their feud kind of thing is having a competitive match because they're friends, and then Sasha just does something crazy, and then that leads to them having a WrestleMania feud. Because I think that that's where Sasha will blow off is during WrestleMania, but
The, the thing that I
future
just
booking here.
yeah, I just thought of something. It was like I don't see how the women's tag titles fit into Survivor Series, but I think that's the thing they say every time they meet in the creative team room is like I don't see where the tag titles fit in this show for every show because like they can't book that thing. I don't know why they came up with it.
Yeah, I don't understand that either, man. It's been ever since its debut, it's just been very hard to get behind. I think it's an important belt. Much like the 24/7 has just ultimately become a staple. I think that same level of enthusiasm could be for the women's tag team belts, but I think that they're just having a hard time finding compatible tag teams that can also have a good flow with their opponents, if that makes sense. There's just not a lot of chemistry on the 2-on-2 space in the women's area. Um, so I don't know.
I mean, back when the belts were created, there were a lot of tag teams. Now,
There were a lot of triple
also, yeah,
factions, women's factions, not tag teams, but triple factions.
there were no. That was you're going way back. Like the faction, like
Well, that's kind of where it started, right? I mean, that's
oh yeah, it started. But when
yeah,
the belts were first, well, like when the first champions were
when
crowned,
they were
there were a
crowned.
lot of tag teams. Like it was the elimination chamber with the six tag
But
teams.
were they tag teams? I mean, they felt more like Frankenstein kind of just put together teams. You had
Most
Carmella
were.
and Naomi, I think, or Lana and Naomi, or
Oh yeah.
like that's what I mean. Like the chemistry between the tag teams that they put together versus the chemistry that those tag teams had with their opponents, just it's lacking. And I think that that's kind of been the detriment to those belts, is that they don't have teams that they can be competitive with between. I think that we saw what we saw on Monday with the Kabuki Warriors and Bliss and Nikki. Like that was the first time that we actually had two tag teams that were really competitive in the ring that really gelled together. Like if we had more teams like that, I think the tag team division would be fine, but we don't, unfortunately. We've got a lot of
And
single stars.
we also need to get those belts over to NXT and to NXT UK. They need to show up there
I
and like
agree.
yeah.
And that's that's another thing. And I'm glad you brought that up. Like they actually have tag teams there, women tag teams there that are that mesh well, right? And then they have great in-ring chemistry, right? Like Rhea Ripley and Reina Gonzalez, awesome tag team. I didn't even think that would even look good on paper, let alone in the ring, and it's fantastic. So yeah, I agree. That's what those belts were meant to be. They were supposed to be on any platform or any brand, and the only thing that we had was them in the crowd at NXT, and that was it. So
Yeah.
I agree, man. That you make a good point there.